What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Read Reviews podcast, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and video games, and pretty much whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Today's a real special one because we're going to be talking about all three, and they're all real big ones, so I'm excited to dive into it. It might be a little bit of a longer one, so we're not going to do too much intro stuff. We're kind of just going to dive right into it. Jesus, as soon as we that wasn't doing it, we've been sitting here for probably 10 minutes. That light wasn't flickering at all, and just decided to.
I ate my whole meal and nothing.
Do you have one that maybe we should do the game first, just because that one's going to be the quickest because I haven't played much?
Most fresh off the head.
Yeah, and then we could do it that way. We can go game, TV, movie.
Yeah, that probably
because
should.
that's in the order of most recent.
I should go off of my memories, basically.
Yeah. First thing is Oblivion. We're going to be talking about Oblivion. This is all the fucking rage in video games right now. So not much of an audience anyways, but any people that are more of the gamer category or people that are watching TVs and movies more often, this section is going to be a little bit about video games. And if you're in it, you probably know about it. This is the, I almost said prequel, but this is the game that came out before Skyrim in the Elder Scrolls series, and they made a remake. They're getting really confusing with the names of these things now, what the definition is.
They undersell it by calling it a remaster.
Well, but this is called a remaster. This is called Oblivion Remastered, and then there's been remasters, and then there's been remakes and all these different things.
Usually a remaster is entailing kind of just a graphics upgrade, just to look better on modern consoles. But a remake will take
that's Final Fantasy.
Yeah, we'll take into full gameplay redesigns. Yeah. Entire sections maybe have been changed to make that they used to be super hard because of an AI glitch or something, and they finally made it work right. But this is one of the best graphics upgrades I've seen for a game that's damn near 20 years old.
I don't even have a touchstone for what it looked like originally. It just looks like a better Skyrim to me.
That's what's crazy.
I've seen in the review. I've seen the before and after.
Yeah,
so that's it.
Even then,
that's it.
It's worth watching more videos and seeing more screenshots because I'm sitting there. It's going to take me so long to play this game all the way through because it's just a big game as is. It's if you played Skyrim, you know it's just a big open world with a ton of different things to do. You can do whatever you want, basically.
Super high fantasy. At least in Skyrim, there's dragons. I doubt there's dragons in this.
Demons. This is where it's if you want to get lore heavy, that's where I think Elder Scrolls is good at it. But Oblivion takes place in the province of Cyrodiil.
Yes. Isn't that south of Skyrim?
South of Skyrim. Skyrim would be just north, and then all of that is they're all within the world of Tamriel. Is the whole area. But it's way more it actually is more just fantasy driven as opposed to Skyrim is the Nords are native to Skyrim and they're very Viking-esque. So it's very cold and rough and tumble and the wilderness is just cold and snowy all everywhere because it's the north.
Yeah.
Oblivion gives you
the north.
So much rolling hills and trees and different colors and big open rivers and things. It's just different. It feels different, I would say.
My favorite thing about the Elder Scrolls games, and I can't say it plural yet because I haven't played Oblivion, but one of my favorite things about Skyrim was just running to the next village and especially the next cities, because the cities in the Elder Scrolls games are so unique and so cool to explore. I always forget what the oh god, I forget. There's one that's there's one city that's way on the
Markarth.
Markarth. With the rocks and the waterfall that runs through the city. I was this is fucking cool. And then the College of Winterfell that's out just on the very peak of the Arctic.
Yes.
It's not Winterhold. Yeah, I'm saying Winterfell from Game of Thrones.
And then there's also Windhelm in Skyrim. Yeah. So they get really close.
And then the Thieves City, which I always forgot what that one's called too. The one down in the south.
Is that Solitude?
No, Solitude.
Solitude's top left.
Solitude's the one that's up on the cliff. That's more of a royal city. But it's just cool in that we can remember the names of some of these cities from way back in the day. So I'm so excited to do that.
And that's
what this game.
I'm always was Ian. I think Ian did. He said basically what I would have said in the chat. Just because, whatever you described, I was oh, that's biased. And
that was just from random.
Yeah, and just saying, I've always thought Oblivion had the better world, the better quest lines, and just kind of better vibes. I've always maybe it's nostalgia from being more of a child. I was 9 and 10, 11 years old playing this game, but loved it then. And the music is next level.
The
one of the best soundtracks in any game.
Their main soundtrack, like that is so much more epic than the Skyrim one, and the Skyrim one is pretty fucking awesome.
Bro, I'm telling you, like I think
that intro screen, I sent a picture of it.
Yeah.
Is one of the best home screens I've ever seen in my life.
Sick as hell.
Yeah.
The music, again, such a biased take from my part too, because I loved the game as a kid. But I played plenty of both Oblivion and Skyrim and a little bit of Morrowind. Still never fully beat it or anything. But it is like the weirdest feeling of like safe comfort, like coziness. Like when I hear that music in the menu and then I go in and it's all the same. All the music, all the sound effects, all the like weirdness in characters look way better, but they do still look at you with just like a completely
it's
like,
the Bethesda thing.
Yeah, like a lifeless stare, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like this is the best of both worlds of it looking as good as it needs to look modern day while keeping all the funny parts of what is an old school RPG in all the cool ways.
So I watched a playthrough video, not really a playthrough. It's kind of hard to describe what his type of videos are, but it's basically him just. They're very heavy, very highly edited videos where he's just cracking jokes the whole time. But he's like similar. I'm pretty sure this dude is like the exact same age as us. Like I know he's 27. I'm pretty sure his birthday's around your birthday and my birthday. So he's the same exact age as us. And he talks about this game in the intro, the quick runoff, just like you said it. Like this is like one of the most nostalgic and one of my favorite games of all time. He said he put 1,500 hours into Oblivion.
I booted it up and it was one of those sat there for a second and was like, I'm actually playing this right now.
Yeah.
And then character creator popped up and I'm like, it looks like this. For everyone else, you're just like, oh, this looks pretty good. Wow. And then for anyone who actually has at least the memories of before and after, I'm sitting there like the reveal thing in the morning. I was like, holy, oh my gosh, what is happening? Like I did not think it would be this much effort put in to a remaster. Like calling it a remaster is still an undersell. Love it. Love underselling and over-delivering.
Yeah, because there's a few other things they've done. But the point that I was getting at with that video is that there is, I don't remember where it's at, but he goes into this hotel and he gets this one specific room. He called it like his home, jokingly, like when he was a kid. Like this is where he would spend all of his time and do all these things and stuff. And it's just like a little room in this hotel. And so he goes in there and then he turns around and he starts laughing immediately because there's this one guy who always will just stare and stand at the front of your doorway. If you can rest for a full 24 hours, you can do anything, and the guy's always just standing right there. And he does the same exact thing like he did back in the day. So it's like they don't take any of that shit out, like even though that's probably like kind of a glitch. They leave like shit like that in. They updated combat a little bit. They got the lip syncing in there. Put a graphic upgrade.
One thing I was always curious about was it's super known in Oblivion for it feels like there's only 3 voice actors total.
Yeah, they did.
There's full on.
There were only.
You
3,
just talked to a guy 5 seconds ago who you heard his voice, and the next character you talk to is just him doing a different voice, and you're like, "What the hell?" It's like you just get used to it, and it's pretty funny. But
it's a smaller scale.
They did add in more lines of dialogue for each race to have a distinct sound, which I was like, that's like a modern day thing to like help. And they even purposefully kind of recorded them like within the weird context of how some lines just sound so out of place every now and then. You're like, why are they so aggressive there? Or you're in a life or death situation, you're like, why are you so calm? Why are you acting like nothing's happening? And it's just how the game was, and it's so funny. It's so good. But I'm super stoked for everyone else now to be able to play it, and it's straight up a new Elder Scrolls game if you've never played it.
So here's my quick story about the last couple days, I guess. But yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday. This got announced on Tuesday, whatever date that was, the 21st. Oh, wait, no, that would have been the 22nd. That's yesterday. Jesus, can't do math. This game got announced yesterday, Shadow Drop. There were rumors that they were doing an announcement and like a reveal of it because we knew that this was coming out and that it was happening. But we didn't know like when it was coming out or anything like that. A lot of people rumored that it was going to be a Shadow Drop. Turns out it was a Shadow Drop. A Shadow Drop means that you announce something and you make it playable same day. Release date is the same day. So they did that, and it has just taken the fucking internet by storm. My whole entire YouTube feed is just Oblivion. It's just this, that. Like I said, I love Skyrim. I've been trying to get back into video games for a little while. I don't want to play on PC. My PC sucks. I'm not going to build it and change it to make it better. So I've been like considering and thinking about buying a console for a while, and just haven't really, because I already bought this fucking $1,000 laptop, and I was like, I don't want to. I'm not gonna go buy a console now for this. And I was like, I can't. This is finally the breaking point where I have the money, even though I shouldn't spend it. I have the money, and I can't miss out on the FOMO of this. So I went out and bought a PlayStation 5 today. I used one. It's $300. I think I got a pretty good deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $300.
Okay.
For a PlayStation 5. I made sure to have it tested, turn it on.
Is it like refurbished or anything, or is it?
I don't think so, but I do have a warranty on it, but only 6 months.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, either way.
But I'm pretty happy with it. It's working just fine right now. But I tried playing it a little bit before Cody got here, and basically the intro is you going through these sewers and introducing just the beginning of the story. I only made it to the point to right where you get out the sewers. And then it hits me with like, oh, we got to finish updating. It's going to be another 3 hours. I was like, fuck. So I probably did that an hour and a half ago. So I could have been a little bit further. But already I love it. I got the nostalgic. It feels like I'm playing a more modern. Well, I don't even want to. It feels like I'm playing a better looking Skyrim Elder Scrolls right now because it definitely doesn't feel more modern. It's not like the combat and like that definitely does feel like it is a step back. Like you can't dual wield the weapons. I don't like that you can't put the healing stuff in your hands. And maybe you can. Maybe I just don't know yet.
It just works different. Things work different.
Yeah, I know that you press the trigger to use not the trigger, but the bumper to use your spells.
So
and I just haven't.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how much like, in depth I want to go, but it is different than Skyrim in certain ways. That it's I don't know. It's different. It's not better or worse. I think I like both for what they are, but it's like you now have a dedicated magic button. You can set any spell to that. Could be a healing, could be a destruction, could be a conjuration, blah blah blah. But yeah, I was stoked when I just saw like everyone on my friends list was playing it. I was like, oh, this is one of those games that I talk about so highly from my childhood, and I know a few other people have like tried playing it before, but it's just too old. You don't have the nostalgia. Yeah, just downloading the 360 port is like, it's old. It shows its age and everything. Like people wouldn't even know how far it goes to like have animations to things. Like the character after you do like a certain power attack flips the sword. Cool. I'm losing my mind over that because the original game was so bare bones. It was like guys just like this, and you're just like, ah, oof, oof, oh, ah, and that's like. No, it just feels weird. Everything feels so weird, but it was funny and it had a charm, and it's for the time it was good. But now it's like you actually have like some feedback and response on hits. It looks so good, and everything else looks better. Like watching comparisons of side by sides, I'm like, just going out in the open world is different because enemies can like just blend into the environment more. Where there's just more grass, straight up. There is grass. Yeah. It's not just a green texture on a flat thing. It's actual grass coming out of the ground. So all those little things, just watching, I'm sitting there like just walking around. I'm like, whoa. I've never in a million years would have thought that there's a game I could see looking like this. But I'm fucking pumped. And I've already put a lot of time in like one day.
Yeah. What did you say? You're 10, 12 hours in already?
Yeah, probably.
I'm maybe an hour in from dicking around and playing around with it. It took me way too long to set up the PlayStation. It was way too hard to get logged into my PlayStation, my PSN account.
What's cool is as soon as you get out of the sewers from where you are, and it tells you, I don't know if it like pulled up the screen or not before that, but that's like the point of the game where it's like, hey, final choices. You can change anything in your class or your blah, blah, blah right now, but if not, you're going through and that's it. And then once you're out of the sewers, go for it. Yeah. You don't have to do the main story if you don't want. You can just go wherever and just start exploring, find all the different factions and guilds, find any side quest, go to any major city of all the, like, if we sit here too long, I'll just end up gushing about it the whole time. I can't.
I'm so excited to just dive into a game for the first time in a while. That's not like a... Actually, I mean, I guess the other ones that I've done have been... Like, the other ones that I've done are like the Spider-Man games and like the God of War games.
They're more just like...
Forza.
They're just like single-player action games as opposed to more of like a truly like open-world RPG. Yeah. At times. They're just like... But it's... Yeah, this is a different vibe. And this is just... saying it too many times. Party time. God damn it. But the game has insane levels of vibes where it's just like the music hits, you're exploring, like just like Skyrim, you're walking around. It might be nighttime, daytime, the sunset. In this game, man, the fucking sunset or sunrise hits.
I've seen some.
And I'm sitting there, and if you are in a spot, you just look out over the map, you see the Imperial City just hovering in the distance.
Because that's the thing with the Sauron Tower?
Yeah, it's the middle of the city. That's White Gold Tower, the tallest tower in all of Cyrodiil.
Wow.
But it's like the center of the map. It's where the Imperial City is. It's like basically, I don't know if it's the capital of, it probably would be, if anything. But yeah, dude, like it just looks so good. This is the kind of game where I'm going to turn the HUD off, get a sick view, and probably like do a screenshot to set as my background on my Xbox.
Yeah.
Red Dead's the last time I probably did that. This one's pulling it out because it just, oh man, it hits on another
everybody's
level.
yeah. And one of my favorite streamers that I watch, he did a 24-hour live stream, but it's like one of those things is you only go 24 hours if they hit certain sub goals, if they hit certain tip goals. Like if you sub, it adds on.
I'm not here unless I get actually paid for it.
Yeah, they're fun. They're basically fundraiser things to just make sure they get these boosts every once in a while. And if it's a game that they really like, but it's like you subscribe, you go for another minute or a couple minutes or something like that. But and the last few, and I feel like a decent amount of them, he doesn't end up going the full 24 hours. I think he was booked out for the full 24 hours in the first 5 or 6 hours of streaming this.
Nice.
so it went super quick. You could just turn it off.
I would think it's a certain generation of gamers right now
That hit my sister. This is a game. My sister hasn't really been gaming for a while. This is immediately when we told people, and I was like in group chats. I'm like, oh, it's real. It's happening. It's out. Like you can download it now.
Yeah.
She was immediately like, oh, well, I guess this is when I come back to gaming. Immediately. It's one of those games that if you played it back when it came out, it really was like at a golden age of games where it just nothing like, especially for consoles. Like I never had a PC growing up and still don't have one, so I know how modding and stuff works for all your other games and things. You can make stuff look way better, but for anyone who's like just console based, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, like little kid, like 10-year-old me is freaking out more than even 28-year-old me is right now.
There were people creating Oblivion in Skyrim, with mods.
Yeah, Skyblivion.
And I think this kind of. We'll see. Well, I guess that still will be cool because it'll be the combo of both of them.
That's what they said. They said their response to the whole even had a response. The team that's making Skyblivion, that whole mod based in Skyrim to recreate Oblivion entirely, and even update it fully.
Insane.
I've watched a lot of those. Their little update videos, but their response was cool. They're like, this doesn't hurt us by any means. The only way we're allowed to do this is because Bethesda is a company that lets us mod their game fully with all the fucking public access to this stuff. No holds barred. They just let it happen. And it's true. You can still, one of the cooler things with Skyrim, you can get it on console and do hella mods on it and really change it up and go kind of crazy. Not every single one, but
some great mods.
You can do that. That's so sick. I don't know if I know that Oblivion doesn't have any mod support right now. I don't know if that's even planned, but
I'm sure it's half the community of Bethesda games now.
If this is a game that holds over to Elder Scrolls 6, then they'd probably be smart to just toss it in for longevity at some point, a year even down the road. Just be like, and here's mod support, so now you can do crazy shit with it.
Oh, I'm sure they will. But yeah, I'm super excited. We'll probably be talking about this periodically as we go on. Once I actually get to play a little bit more, and then I can talk to Cody about it.
Yeah, we both just started the game. I'm literally I could say I'm no further in than you because it's up to you what you do after that point. And so progress just gets made everywhere, wherever you want. And it's it's one of those games I'm now playing until GTA 6 exists. This might be the next thing I only play.
I was about to say, I was like, is this gonna, and I hate when these are the game of the years, but is this gonna be the game of the year now? And then I thought about GTA 6. I was like, okay, it won't be game of the year, but it was weird when Resident Evil 2 or whatever came out and that was game of the year. Or what wasn't Resident Evil 2 when they came out and released that?
That's
the year
when
that came out, it was game of the year. That's what I'm talking about. That one's a little bit different because those are actual remakes. So
I just know that for sure Resident Evil 4 remake, which is the big one that drastically overhauled and is known to be the best one, was up for Game of the Year at one point.
Yeah, I guess those ones aren't a good comparison because those are remakes and they're new games. I'll be curious to see. For me, this is enough of an increase in something. This isn't just I've played Skyrim so many times, and I've gotten their newest editions and versions, and still when I boot it up, I'm always I definitely know this is Skyrim. It never fully feels next level. And again, I'm tired of it. I don't want it.
But to feel the jump from a 20-year-old game to now, this truly feels like a new game even for me. Where I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know Bethesda could make games that look like this. Because Starfield just was not it, really. It didn't hit. It's not... I love the Elder Scrolls. It's one of my favorite game franchises. I love it so much. And so to see one of my favorite games ever in the franchise being made and can look like this and play like this, I'm like, I didn't know it was possible, and it's like the biggest redeeming factor for them in a long time. Like since Skyrim first launched, this is the best thing Bethesda's put out.
Probably
for me.
What has even been in between that Fallout 4 and
and there's still
Starfield?
been Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, if you want to count that.
Because that's also
Starfield,
and then a bunch of probably add-on editions, re-release things.
Yeah, and then like
of that
Skyrim 3 more times.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
but for me, and that's one of those things. Ian said it. I love Skyrim. But the one thing when playing Skyrim, even to this day I can remember, was there are certain things where I'm like, God, but Oblivion did that better. That kind of bugs me. Oblivion did that better. That kind of bugs me. And as I play through this new game, I don't know. I might kind of tame down and not be so high on it. But the things that I wanted fixed are now in it, and it like is the game that I think it should always be. It's like its best version possible to play and experience what is a straight up amazing Elder Scrolls game and just a great game in general.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing a lot.
I'm so pumped for like everyone playing it.
Now let's get into the second thing we're going to be talking about, the 2 of 3 on this podcast, which is what you all knew we were going to be talking about from last week, because the Elder Scrolls thing was a Shadow Drop surprise attack.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah. The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 2. So
big time
and
spoilers.
Yeah, this is one where we're really going to say this because this is really important, and like I don't forget sometimes, and we do it anyways, but this is like kind of one of the biggest spoiler kind of things like ever. Like when you think about big spoilery things, this is one of them. So leave right now, come back after you watch it, or if you played the game, obviously it doesn't matter. But yeah, massive spoilers.
Straight up, I would say it's like if you have not seen the episode or anything in season 2, just like don't watch this.
Yeah,
get to this point, then watch.
Yeah. I'm just gonna dive straight in and just ask you what you thought about it, because did you already know about this thing?
I knew this would happen.
Okay, I thought so.
I knew
you haven't played it.
I knew that this moment, and it's straight up impossible to not talk about this episode without going straight to the meat.
Yeah,
which is that moment.
Yeah, go ahead. What did you think about the episode overall? What did you think about the thing?
I still think awesome episode. I thought, for me, I was worried about like. I hope we don't. I still want cool zombie shit. Like, that's going to be the thing for me that's so easy to get me in. And they kind of hit a home run with, like, a banger-ass,
They took the complaints from Season 1
Dude, it felt
all right, cocksuckers.
At times, not in a bad way, it felt like Game of Thrones-esque. Because of it, like, the snowy 100%. Environment and, like, White Walkers versus zombies, what's the difference?
They made sure to do it during the day so you could actually see stuff.
That was like, I was like, I'm loving that we're seeing everything. It was so sick to see their plans and strategies of, like, rolling the oil barrels down and they have little ramps to bounce off. I feel like, in my head, too, they didn't necessarily state it, but it's like, oh, get them a little bit out, let the zombies actually hit the wall first, then blow them up so more run in and set all those ones on fire.
Which made me a little bit nervous about catching their wooden wall on fire.
Hey, you know what? But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Whatever. But it goes even deeper than that, and it's really cool. And it's so hard when you just jump around on things that are like really good, and like instead of like going through it chronologically to make sure you hit everything. But like when Abby's group first comes up and they see them, and when they see them in the morning instead of just seeing them at night when they see the lights down there, they're like, holy fucking shit, Abby! They have power lines, they have guns, they have a giant wall. This place is massive. This is not a town.
We're not going in.
This is a city.
Yeah,
this is a flourishing city. They must be armed. They have regular patrols, and they're listing off how capable Jackson is, which is such a cool thing because I don't think they dove into like Jackson as a character definitely not as much in the game. This whole zombie fight is not in the game.
I was gonna say this isn't
brand
even,
new. The whole thing.
This is all
Tommy is with Joel when the Joel thing happens.
Yes,
And what I'm getting at with that is that like it shows when they make up their plan, and when God, it gives me a little bit of goosebumps because it's just dope. I buy it. I feel it. I believe it. When Tommy's in the little town hall thing and he's telling everybody, he's like, "Where do we go if you're not a soldier or whatever?" Down. Where do you go if you're a soldier? Up. And everybody in the town just knows. They know they have armed militia. They know that there's certain people to handle certain guns. He's like, for the heavier firearms, you know who you are. You handle those. You get those. and they have strategic points and they have a strategic plan of like how everything goes down. Some people cowered out because like when shit hits the fan, people get scared.
Yeah.
The flamethrowers.
And there's
but it's so cool.
And there's a couple moments of like I don't know why they have to do it, but like leaving a person kind of just standing in the middle of a horde running around them and they're not really doing anything.
That didn't make sense.
And it's just like all you have to do is not put them in that spot and the moment works. But for whatever reason, the tension calls for put them in the middle of it. It's like, someone would have hit them.
It's not, you would think like, oh, the people are shooting them so they can't get to them. But they're just straight up running around.
They're just literally running around.
I'm like what is
super little nitpick. I'm just like, if you're going to do a zombie show, a zombie anything, that's going to happen at some point.
I think there could have been a cooler way to kill the bloater than very slow-mo right at the last second flamethrowing him. Like where you get a team.
I didn't mind it only because I think I'm a gamer and I was like, oh, it feels like a moment where you totally get pinned, but you're like, fuck, all I have is the flamethrower, and you unleash all your ammo and you're like, fuck. Man.
If you think about it like that, that makes sense.
Again, I would. That's like one person's little take on it. So I don't know if that's how it's supposed to go, but I kind of liked it. It wasn't super like dramatic, really, though.
The zombies were so fucking scary in this when they're chasing Abby down the hill.
That part was sick,
and you think
that build up to like holy shit. I was like. The whole episode, like, it does not really hold back from just getting to things happening because there's a lot that has to happen. And the fact that you get to the, like, Jackson invasion so fast because Abby's dumbass walks right over all the, like, I took
it as it was going to happen anyway because of the pipe.
It was, exactly. So, like, the pipe thing was already leading them. She just probably instigated, like, oh, it's happening now. Here we go. But seeing the horde as she, like, they wake up under the bodies already, and they start. You think the one's
alive and moving, but no, it's just collapsing and turning into an avalanche. And the ones below because they're using each other for warmth.
They're using him for like insulation, and then
crazy.
They show that freaking horde coming behind her, and I was like, dude, that is so many zombies. There's no way you're not getting out of this, like, or something doesn't come to combat here. So I was like, here we go. They get the sick moment of her like in the fence trying to get away, and it just goes more and more.
Shot from the game.
Yeah, just more and more and more down, and you're like, fuck. Only to know that who's coming to save her. It's gonna be Joel. Yeah. Right, the last minute, like last second is the guy that comes in to save her.
And so this is game comparison stuff that we have to go into too, which is very direct.
I had to look stuff up even to try to get a little bit of an idea of what changed, because this is where I don't know a lot of the little details or much of the in-betweens. I really only knew, like, I knew the last moment of the episode was coming. The big moment was going to happen. I totally knew.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, fuck, did this happen in the game? Did the Jackson thing happen? I was like, oh, no, it didn't.
No, the Jackson thing is brand new, and it's crazy. So, oh my God, it's so hard to keep track of everything, but it's good and bad that they swapped Dina and Tommy's spot. Well, I guess they didn't even technically swap their spots because Ellie ends up being with Jesse, and then Dina ends up being with Joel. In the game, Ellie and Dina are together, and it's like a really important and emotional scene for building their characters, and they might do this later or something, but they end up going in there, and they have to camp out in the blizzard, and they end up fucking, and then Jesse finds them, and all this stuff. So it's like, it's a good scene because of like what happens in building their relationship and stuff, and so you get kind of robbed of that, which kind of sucks. But I don't know. It's hard to dictate it, and it's all convoluted too. I think it's really cool to add Tommy being in the scene there and having him in town because now he has to deal with like not being around Joel and having the guilt of not being there, and like him being the hometown hero and how he was the only flamethrower guy who stood his ground, and he's still gonna go on this like Joel should be going to find Joel. Like It's cool. I don't know. I can't decide if I like it more or not. I think it's just there and just exists.
Yeah.
The Dina thing I think is really interesting because Tommy's usually with him. They beat the fuck out of Tommy. Like Tommy has a broken leg. He's got a bruised up arm, bruised up face. Maybe he doesn't have a broken leg. He probably doesn't have a broken leg, but he gets beat the fuck up. Mm-hmm. In this, they try to show the humanity of Abby and her friends a lot more, which I think really takes away from the jarring punch. Because in the game, Abby just shows up. You play as her for like a couple minutes. And she kills Joel.
I think that's
they build the back.
That's important to talk about, like the difference between the game and why I think, at least at the time, a lot of people were very jarred by the moment. Is you did not know Abby's backstory at all, right? Like you had no clue why.
You saw them come up in the group and knew that they were looking for Joel, I believe.
So, to think in the show's comparison, imagine you know nothing about the Abby chick, and imagine you got maybe one other scene of just the moment of them pulling up close to town, and you see this group, and you're like, whoa. And then imagine all of a sudden Joel just saves this chick, they bring him back, and then she kills him?
Holy
shit.
Dude, the scene, I think the scene is done better in the game, too, because the scene is Tommy and Joel come into a room with Abby, with all of her friends, similar like they do in this. And they're introducing themselves, and all of Abby's friends are introducing each other. And then Abby says, like, or they say their names, something along the line, Joel and Tommy say their names, or Abby says their names or something. But they say it, and the tension, you feel the tension, just like you do in the show, but it's different because you haven't built their characters. You don't see, like, everybody gets angry and instantly ready to fucking murk this guy. Whereas in the TV show, especially Mel, the girl, the doctor who gives Dina the
she's
the IV,
super sympathetic.
She's immediately like, oh fuck.
She does not.
I know
what
we're here for, but like I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And in the game, it's like you don't feel that or see that at all. At least to me, Manny, the guy that you were talking about, who you're thinking is in. I forgot what you were saying before.
Captain America.
Oh yeah.
I thought he looked like his little sidekick.
Yeah, possibly. I looked it up, but I forgot to actually see. When Joel dies and they walk away and they're leaving, Manny spits on him and says "pendejo" or something. In this, he doesn't do that. In the show, he doesn't do that. He just walks it. He doesn't spit on him. No,
he doesn't. I feel like I remember him saying or doing something.
He does stand over him, yeah, but he doesn't spit on him, which I know is a little thing, but it's just pulling him back a little bit because I think they're definitely pulling it back a little bit from the video game and how much they piss people off, and they're like, we can't do it that much. So they're like making everybody more sympathetic, not being as aggressive, not being as crazy with it, except for Abby.
Giving Abby any sort of backstory to give you an idea of what she has at stake for this, why she's doing it, and why she cares so much. It's like
okay, a couple of acting performances, because this is a point of contention that we were talking about before, and like how, you know, just the way that Ellie looks and all that stuff. We won't dive into it again. But Abby, Caitlin Dever, who was originally supposed to be Ellie in the live action version, which could have worked.
Totally could have worked.
Yeah, which looks a lot more like...
It's rough to know that if she was playing her at this age, it's like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That would work so well.
Yeah, but, dude, she might not be the Abby from the game. She might not be jacked out, but goddamn, is Caitlin Dever put on a great performance.
Does the shotgun moment happen in the game?
Yeah.
Okay, because either way, that's the moment where I was like, she doesn't fuck around.
I can't remember if she shoots.
I was like, oh man, okay, she's not playing. Like, she's just immediately like...
Dude,
right at it.
Her monologue of like just describing everything and saying you don't get to rush this, and I was like, this is a damn good performance. And Joel saying, "Get on with it already." I was like, because she is doing the bad guy evil monologue thing. He's like, "Fucking hurry up, man! This is ridiculous." Because it was getting kind of long. I thought that her monologue was awesome. I think she's doing a great performance at like what she is in this and like this version of Abby. So I'm bought in. I'm with Caitlin Dever, even though she's not the same Abby.
You have to be, right? Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, you do, but so
it's happening.
Yeah, it's not like anything's changing. Bella Ramsey, I think was better in this episode, and goddamn, did the end of her crawling up to Joel and laying on him fucked me up for sure. And I was like, this is also in the game. The way Abby kills him is she does one final bash just to his skull. Yeah. It's so much more jarring rather than just a little golf club broken stab into the neck. Yeah. Which I thought was I don't know, it goes into just more how blatant and aggressive it was in the game, and in this it's more subtle and drawn out and more backstory.
It's weird because I feel like it totally... God, it's such a tough scenario to adapt something like this and pick and choose how you go about these types of scenes that you knew are pivotal, that you know are controversial already. And those little choices between, like, changing who's in the moment, changing how you're giving Abby backstory, but really just, like, the game feels like at the time, even when it came out, that was the point was it's aggressive. It's like a slap to the face. And when you
it's supposed to make you mad.
And when you pull back from that, the moment is not the same, but it's still the same moment we're doing. So it's like, right? Like the show still hits, but I think I still have to say, like, knowing how the game hits harder.
I bet you it's hitting. This is a complicated thing to say, but I bet you it's hitting better and easier and more of the way they wanted it to overall for people that don't know about the game stuff.
And another thing is, I brought this up, I think, last time, talking about how it's a TV show is not a video game. You are playing a video game, meaning you get put into the control of either a perspective for you to believe it's you or someone else, and you know it's that person. Yeah. This game was heavily controversial in an element of who you end up playing as in general.
I was going to ask if you knew about
Yes, that, so. And knowing, like, so not only does your quote-unquote main character, the most favorite character of a lot of people in the game, unless it's Ellie, it's going to be Joel, is now no longer in the game. You do not, like...
It's just such a bold fucking...
It's super bold. It's super bold, but even crazier is to then be like, and you're going to play as the motherfucker who did it.
Yeah.
And so you're already pissed at the character,
so
and
you're
they're
forced to build,
and you're forced in. So that's jarring.
That's what I think that's why they have to do it like this in the TV show, though, is because they have to build backstory and they have to build this to make you sympathize with Abby, because in the game
you'd start to
in that game when it happens, the first fucking hours that you're playing as her, because it's a long game. Mm-hmm. You probably play as her for probably 10 plus hours. Mm-hmm. For hours while you're playing as her, you're like, fuck this, dude. I don't want to play. I know that was a thing where people did stop playing. But you're forced. The whole point and why they made this game is to force you to be Abby and force you to see her side and all this stuff. And they're doing that earlier and planting the seeds earlier. And I'm sorry if that might be minor spoilers. I don't know how it really would be, because it's not telling you actually story beats or things that happen. But that's something that happens in the game that is like, and I think that's why they're doing it more like this, mm-hmm. which makes sense for a TV adaptation and why they would have to change it a little bit more. But it doesn't, like we were just saying, it doesn't hit the same. It is different. So I don't know where I'm at. I think this is one where it could kind of be a coin flip of one that I like more or better, whether it's, because I also have to think about it in the lens of when this happened and I saw this. I was fucking pissed. The guy that I was watching the playthrough of was talking about it for dozens of videos, and they were like 20, 30-minute episodes. He would release games at a time. Mm-hmm. And this is after I had played it, and I remember still just being like, I fucking hate this. I'm so annoyed. I am so shocked. It's like more shocked than I've been in any other Game of Thrones thing. Like, and Game of Thrones is known for doing these shock factors, which is also why it's kind of makes sense and really fitting for this to be on HBO. Shit like this.
Your main character getting killed off. I mean, virtually a season in almost.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah. So it's great. I think it looks beautiful. Again, like I was saying before, I think that the zombie battle edition was a great juxtaposition that I think is A+. It's really nice when you get the new adaptations of something and you see something they add and you're like, oh, I like this. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because people were bitching about there being a lack of infected and zombies before.
Yeah, this was awesome. I got my zombie fill. Yeah. I was satisfied. And then, like, the pacing of the episode I thought was really good. There was always no downtime. Just things kept happening. We're going up until the last moment of, like, and even then, I was, like, sitting there watching, and once they did the, like, oh, shit, Joel's saving her. Okay, they're going to get him up to the cabin. Okay, and then they, like, did the cut over to literally focusing on the golf bag. And I was like, oh, my fucking God, we are. I was like, wow, we really are gonna go for it. And the whole time,
did you know how it happened too?
Yeah, I knew a little bit about like the golf, like the whole golf, club being used in some way.
So gnarly, man. It was so gnarly.
But yeah, and just being like, oh my gosh, we're really gonna do this, and then already knowing Matt's reaction, which was like, holy shit, you guys gotta watch.
He said. I was so confused by this message because he said, dude, this episode, it's like a fucking movie. I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm not exactly...
I think it was very much like...
Like, he means like it's so good that it's on status?
I think there's just a lot... There's a lot at stake. There's a lot that happens.
Oh, he might be talking about the battle, actually.
Yeah, like the battle, and then even leading into just a really huge moment. Like, the battle alone would have been like any other episodes. Like, yeah, that was sick. But not only to follow that with virtually the one of the biggest moments is pretty crazy. So it was high intensity the whole time.
What a sick episode, dude.
Yeah, and highly, like, as I'm watching, I'm like telling all my siblings who I don't know the story. I'm like, have you guys watched yet? Have you watched? Hey, have you watched yet? Just trying as hard as I can to not even give anything other than like, it's a pretty big episode. Like, you should give it a watch and catch up. And I think nobody's still watching it, and I'm like, God, you wait long enough, you're gonna see something online, or like it's
Yeah,
more amazing that like not a lot of people know about this. I think,
Yeah.
because of how easy of a thing it is to know. I mean, I'm sure if you're playing the game or watching the show, you have an idea that this is totally a possibility at all times. Like the show culminates maybe to this moment, but it's like it could happen anytime.
I'm glad that they didn't, like, because I know there are rumors, like, at least with gamer people that I was watching reviews of and talking about, I know there were rumors of thinking, like, could they possibly just not do it? And I'd be like, that would be such a bad call. That would be such a coward move.
Now, that's such a
out of the
drastic
shift. It would be a coward move for the producers and for Neil Druckmann to do that, too.
Changes,
it's like,
it's changing everything.
This is the story that you wanted to tell. You did this for a reason, and I think that you ended up doing it really well, and I think that it was actually really bold and really special. And to make it into this adaptation and get rid of that would be just like, okay, so what's the game about now? Because this season 2, I've talked about this, is about revenge. Mm-hmm. It's about cyclical violence and endless revenge of stuff, and how the cycle just never stops if somebody doesn't let it stop. Mm-hmm. It's so I don't know how, because if they did that to like Tommy or somebody, if they did that to Dina or somebody we knew for an episode, like it just nothing. It had to be Joel for it to make sense. Yeah, it had to be Joel. Mm-hmm.
Do you go on the subreddits at all?
No, I just don't go on Reddit.
Don't you know better than to, I'm sure. For any show, really. I'm just always too curious. With shows,
Do you just spoil yourself?
No, not for spoilers. Just to see like reactions.
Oh, people's opinions.
Yeah, opinions. And so
I get that enough.
If you go to like anything from like just the television subreddit, which it's a general TV thing of all the popular things, or if you go to like The Last of Us 2, the game subreddit, and you look at people talking about this show, oh man, they've never hated something more in their lives. They are so passionate. The people that are, dude, people are just so vocal about Bella Ramsey being like what should be arguably off of their opinions, the worst person I've ever seen on a screen, ever. Like, how could they even imagine hiring this girl? Which I'm like, it's not that bad anymore. No. I thought episode 1 just purposely held back a lot because of knowing what is going to happen in episode 2. So, like, it was just kind of a hanging out episode, more or less, and, like, things that kind of culminate to a bit of a tension moment at the end, at the dance. But overall, like, it's a pretty tame episode compared to what the next thing is.
Yeah, it's fucking hell.
And it's like, I still got to see a great performance, I thought, from her in the Joel moment where she's like crawling up to him. I was like, this is super fucking sad. This would be sad.
Dude, I was
like, this is not fun to watch. It sucks. And people just fucking can't find anything to like. It's crazy how, especially video game fan bases, is if like talking about how much I loved the game before, but when you talk about how much people are willing to hate a game, those fan bases are more vocal than any.
And like, I mean, we've talked about this, though, is that
it goes for any entertainment media.
Yeah, I don't, especially the people that are actually commenting and posting online, like, I don't think those people are, so many of them either aren't real or are purposely doing this and just to make people angry. Like, I don't think
it's,
most
yeah.
of them, like, well, or people that are just so obsessed and aren't.
But they get Reddit. The weird and bad thing Reddit does is its purpose is to make a community or a little grouping of people that all get off on the same thing. Yeah. So the game turns into
echo chambers.
Yeah, like things that turn into when the game started and it first has a subreddit created at like reveal. It's all cordial. Everyone's like super pumped about the game coming out. But now, however long after release and the controversy, it's just a subreddit filled with all the haters who literally do nothing but post just the worst, most obscene things and just all love talking about it. They're all just pivoting, like piggybacking off on this
like,
insane...
Yeah, dude, this fucking Down syndrome looking at child I've seen too many memes of that.
Like essays where you're like, holy, I didn't know people thought about this much, and all of it could not be any more negative. It's like... Wow, I get it. I'm laughing as I read it because I'm like, whew, okay, I'm a normal person to some extent. Like, no, what totally, the...
That is a...
What the hell?
That is a major minority of, like,
it's crazy.
That are, like, actually...
Because, yeah, that you go to the Last of Us TV show subreddit, and it's pretty, like, you've got some people coming in and they're like, worst fucking shit I've ever seen, so dumb. You're like, okay, whatever. And then, but more or less it's like, people being like, well, I like this, but I might not have liked that choice as much. But overall, I still really enjoyed the episode. And it's just like... people who can actually take a pro and a con and analyze it from a hopefully general stance and just give like a, oh, it wasn't the worst thing ever, or it wasn't the best thing, or I thought it was the worst thing, but better give me some good reasons that don't feel like I can see the steam coming out of your ears through the comments.
True gamer people, and like I think this is why the gamer culture is like this and so toxic, is just like a higher percentage of them are very incel, loner, like don't go out, don't do much, or just online, that's all they do. And I think that's why they're so much more toxic and so much more drastic when things are good and drastic when things are bad. It's like nothing is just like, oh, nice.
It's their thing to fight about.
Yeah.
They feel like, oh, well, I know I dedicated this much time or this much energy or passion into this. I better stand up for the thing that I love.
That just seems like such a stressful life, man.
Yeah. To actually comment and going and posting the stuff, just like, I'm drained reading it. I couldn't imagine interacting and actually writing this
There was
stuff.
a small period of time where like I would get instigated into stuff online and I would comment and post and get in like, you remember anytime you see something like post an angry Facebook post and you're like, okay, let's go to the comments because there's 100 comments. And you're like, oh shit, okay, we gotta dive into this and start reading
Seeing the comment number under a controversial thing,
you're like, oh, okay, let's go. All
right,
then you see who gets into it, and people would come to school and be like, dude, did you see the fucking Facebook argument or whatever? And there was a couple of times in maybe early to mid high school. I don't think I did it at all by the end of high school, where I dove in on a few of them, and I think I'm just lucky because I got out of that and like never did it again really quick. I don't comment I don't dive into anything like that.
I don't post ever. I haven't posted in years on anything.
Yeah, I do, but like it's all very neutral stuff. It's not usually anything crazy. I'm not going to go on a rant about Trump or a rant about Biden or anything on social media.
I put the Oblivion launch on my story on Instagram, and that's like one of my 3 stories a year I might put on.
Sick picture.
It was sick. And had the music going. I was like, I'm so pumped. And you know what's funny? Matthew Littleton. Well, there you go. Either way, like old friend, totally just messages me and was like, dude, I totally remember way back playing this at your house with you all the time. Like, holy shit. And I was like,
special moments.
I hadn't even thought about it until then. I was like, wow, I did used to like play this with like all the boys back in the day. It was like, if you come to my house, you probably were playing games, and that's an easy go-to. But either way.
I'm not going to say too much about it because I think it kind of could be spoilery. That the moment where like Ellie is like comes back to the house and looks at Joel up on the deck playing guitar. That moment has a very foundational and building block to him dying at the end of the episode, or just dying in the game when he dies. That I'm kind of pissed that they left out, but I don't think they did leave it out. In the game, what happens, and the reason Pedro Pascal is still going to be in this whole season, there's a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, you knew that. You had to know that's
which are fucking awesome and are part of what made. Oh my god, they make me teary eyed just thinking about them. It makes it so much more sad. They hit so much harder because of that. So I think that moment will come in a flashback, but it was just unfortunate not to see it in there. But I get it. I need to let it see how it plays out and what their vision is for changing this and adapting it to a different medium. And just like we were talking about before with like how they're having to build Abby's crew because they can't jump in like they did in the game just because that's how they're going about it.
And I think it's crucial too. Like, I don't know if people realize it half the time, but you keep hitting on it. Like, the game is long. Like,
it's a long game. It's like probably a 30+ hour full story playthrough.
Season 2, part 1, because we know there's going to be another.
2,
I would
maybe
think
3.
Is only 7 episodes. So that's 7 hours or less, probably, because they're not all maybe going to be exactly an hour.
It's probably more like 6.
So you have to condense a lot of story and things into more, like a fraction of the time. And I feel like it's some people, when they think about a show in a game, it's like, it should be this easy. It should be. And it's like, well, Red Dead Redemption, I think about it, it's like, that might be like a 4, 5, 6 like season show if you were to do just the second game, and let alone the first game could be like another 4 to 5 seasons of a show because of they're like 40 to 50 hour games, just the story, none of the extra stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like to condense that and get all the like key points. I would want it to be fleshed out, and it's like, damn, people's attention spans these days don't want to keep up either with something that's actually like maybe elongated a little bit.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited and so like kind of nervous to see where this ends up cliffhanging us at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because there's so much good building and emotional shit that happens with these flashbacks and like where you go into. There's so many different storylines. We're gonna get introduced to a lot of different like factions and like zombie stuff, and like there's so many different stories, and they go so deep into them in the different cities and locations that we go to.
Did you? Did you expect this to happen in like the second episode?
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah,
when I would think about this, I would think 100%. This is gonna.
It should be early. Yeah, it should be pretty early within the season.
Not the first. I thought it would be. This is exactly what I thought would have happened. Like where we're at right now, other than the minor changes that they've made, like swapping where people are, doing a little bit more backstory. This is almost exactly how I'd expect the first, the second, beginning of the second season.
Totally makes sense. Give 100% of a full episode to Joel to never make people think that could happen. Like, don't even try to give a cliffhanger that alludes to like Joel's in danger in the second episode or something. It's just like let a full episode breathe and everything breathe, and then hit a sucker punch hard at the end of the second episode, building into it.
It's so much more sad too because of their falling out stuff.
Yeah, they leaving it on a super sour note.
Which is also why I'm like more annoyed at this version of Ellie, because she's like more bratty, more annoying, more fuck you. I mean, she does it in the game, and it's a similar thing, but it's like not the like you can still see that she has love for him. Mm-hmm. Like I never, anytime someone would mention Joel's name in the first episode, like. She was just like, I hate that person.
Yeah,
I could despise.
You could tell it was a like, do not bring his name up.
Yeah,
and it's like, it wasn't
Jesus. I felt like in the game, and maybe I'm misremembering it, but I feel like when people outside of Ellie and Joel talking to each other, when other people would mention Joel, Ellie would get kind of like a sad look on her face, like, but not an anger, like I fucking hate this guy. It was like a sad kind of remorse or like. But it is just kind of the way things are. I don't know.
It feels too angsty. I feel like it's
too
like
angsty.
It's like, are you technically a teenager? Yeah, you're 19.
Yeah,
but like by 19, we're in college, and like, yes, you're a child, but you lose some of that like, fuck my parents.
Yeah,
like,
you're not a 15, 16. Yeah. Kind of when Catherine Hahn was saying that to Pedro Pascal, to Joel in that interview, where she's like, "Oh, your teenage daughter is acting towards you like every other teenage daughter." I'm like, I don't. That's like a high school.
Yeah, this
thing.
is
like,
kind
this
of
is
your
a couple years.
This is usually like a lot of kids. I kind of think like this can be a turning point with your parents, where you go from like being like, they kind of were right about a lot of shit, and like
especially for girls.
Yeah, and I'm kind of a dumbass, like a lot of times doing stupid shit, and you still don't own up to it, but you see it, and you're definitely. Like, I don't know. That's another, like, it's a nitpick, but not really, because it is a disconnect still where I'm like...
And I think what people's excuse would... I don't want to say that. Never mind. I have to really tread lightly on stuff. It kind of sucks, because it's...
I will say, I like is still, like... From here on out, I don't necessarily know a ton of moments... in what happens.
Yeah.
But I like the structure of how season 1 is a very much like Joel's hard ass man does not want the girl. You get to know them. It's kind of a father-daughter relationship with not a happy ending, but an ending that leaves you with both characters. And you're like, okay. Yay.
Yeah.
And then season 2 now hits with like all right, we're back where we left off.
But not really.
No. Actually, it's going to be we've already been hit with the flash forward, technically, where it's like 5 years later.
Yeah.
And now we know we're way later and we skipped a bunch of time. So it's completely setting up naturally for, hey, something could happen to do a lot of flashbacks. It's going to hurt seeing Joel die. But to know where we left their relationship is very poignant to now go back to their flashbacks and get to see the building blocks of where we get to in certain ways, in pivotal moments of certain things that have happened. But it's like, I like that structure now of getting, it's like, you can get away with, oh, well, we're just going back to kind of a continuation-ish of season 1 in certain ways that you'll get, but like it's just in a different form with the reality of certain things.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they keep going with it and how they adapt things. So I'm like, I was in. Obviously, I was already gonna be in. I was gonna watch this whole thing. That was never like a
good or bad.
Yeah. And I never thought the show was gonna be bad. If I'm being completely honest, I thought it might be.
But it's like, even if they drastically changed the story and you were like, what the fuck, you'd still have to keep watching.
Yeah, if they changed the Joel thing
And
I
you'd
guess
still watch. You would be like, I have to see what the hell they finish
yeah,
this out with.
yeah,
man.
yeah, you're right.
Like, even out of spite, you're just like, well, let's fucking see then, buddy, if you're going to do this.
Like I was with the game.
Yeah, we're like, well, then let's see how you're going to end it. If that's the case, you're going to take Joel away from me.
Yeah, it's still obviously H, but I was like in and I was like, I like the show. It's still good quality. The Bella Ramsey casting thing is still weird. I'm gonna complain about it, not like the people on Reddit. Fuck
No,
them. I'm
not
still
like
gonna watch
that.
it.
But it
And
is
again, she's still a really good actress. I just don't think the casting makes sense. But
it's also hard at times because every time I look at her, I will still always inherently see her Game of Thrones character,
she
which
looks
is like
exactly the same as when she was
looks
12.
the same, and she was a literal child.
Yeah.
man. And it's like that was the character. She was a child making crazy claims and like had actual charisma.
Child lord.
But like it's so hard not to see super childish, completely not combat oriented this girl. And like again, not the worst actress ever, but could have maybe been a season 2 shift in the actress.
But this episode has me all in, which is kind of what I expected. Well, it's not actually. I expected it to still be good, and I expected things to kick off in this episode. But the zombie fight thing put this episode on a whole nother level, and I was like, okay, now we got good action. They've changed up things that I like, and like it's exciting. Some of the set pieces that are going to come late. Oh man, I'm just thinking about all the dope fucking things that they can do when we get later into this season and into the next season. These set pieces are going to be real cool if they're setting things up like this and changing shit.
I'm more excited, I think, now definitely than I was after episode 1. Like this got me kind of going. Where by the end of the episode, I was sitting there, I was like, well, if you didn't know it was going to happen, even me knowing it was kind of going to happen, I'm still like, God damn, this really shifts things. So it's the a Red Wedding-esque moment. Not as crazy in terms of how many things happen, but in the... Actually, I just take that back. It's the Ned Stark moment, not the Red Wedding. It's the Ned Stark moment completely. So, and that was pulled off in a way that works. Another thing to like... I will be curious to see is like, well, the thing Game of Thrones has is a way bigger cast of technical main characters.
There's way more going on.
There's so much more going on, so you can do that. Last of Us, we'll see. I'm curious to see how we go and how they can balance and try to like maybe adjust or change some plots to maybe push some tension or stakes or plot. I really don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm kind of along for the ride now.
Yeah. Last of Us is dope. Yeah. Let's dive in to the third thing that we're going to talk about, which is also amazing. All these things we're talking about are
all good,
amazing,
all
so
like
exciting.
Really good. Yeah.
Even with and finally we're going to be talking about a good movie, but even with the movies not being good, man, just shit's just fun right now.
Movie, yeah, we've been kind of bagging on movies lately, but thank God we thought smart and we're like, this has been getting good reviews, and then going.
It was all you.
And well, I saw it enough, however, and I was like, man, this does look. I watched just the trailer once or twice, and I was like, that did look pretty good. Yeah. And I don't need to see much more. Maybe let's just go for it.
Yeah. And it sucks that now this one would have been. I wish we would have talked about this one right after, but it just doesn't really line up. It doesn't work that way sometimes.
I still
this
think
isn't our job.
I've got a good memory still, and it's
enough.
It's not too hard to sum up what it is.
Exactly, that's what's nice about it. But what we even saw was Warfare, A24 Alex Garland movie with Ray Mendoza also co-directing, who was. Basically, this movie is about some Navy SEALs getting caught in a firefight and getting realized while they're on a recon mission in Afghanistan.
True
in
story.
2006. True story. Ray Mendoza was one of the SEALs, so that's already cool.
Yeah.
What's even more cool is that this story is completely made and written based off of the SEALs that were in this situation's memory. So they have all of the SEALs come to the actors, come to the directors on set, wherever they went and recreated the house or something. Because they didn't go to the actual house. I'm guessing.
No, I think they just got pictures. From the pictures we even see is how they were basing like a recreation of it. They didn't even, they had to kind of probably BS their way through some of the rooms because they just didn't know. But yeah.
That's a testament to how good this movie looked, because I couldn't tell that it was a set. It was fucking awesome.
And it's one place you're in the whole time.
You do have to nail it when you do that.
So yeah, you got to make it interesting and know how to use it.
So it's these Navy SEALs coming and directly recreating this movie from memory, and this movie is not a traditional movie. This movie is not. There's not like a story. There's not a plot. I mean, there is.
The only thing you are even told about what's happening is it just said at the very beginning before it starts. It just says they're on like a sniper recon mission.
Yeah.
And
something
that
like
is
that.
it. You're not given a goal. You're not given
no exposition.
why they're doing it. You're not really sure as to what, like, that's all they know potentially, and this is all you know. It's a sniper recon mission. Here we go.
And so with that being said, it's a situation. It's not a story. This is what I've heard a couple of people talking about it. It's a good way to describe it because there's several moments that happen within the movie. Obviously, we're going to spoil. I want to still say that for people.
Yeah, we're going to spoil, it's hard to spoil things when you, like, there's not a ton that happen. Like, there is stuff that happens, but it's all the little details, really, is why you watch it, and it's really well done.
But what's so interesting about it, and I'm just going to kind of dive into thoughts now, too, because I want to bring up this point, because this is a really big thing. It just felt so much more different and more real, is that in normal plots and normal stories and things that happen, there's foreshadowing. There are little pieces laid forward to be picked up earlier at the end of the movie or whatever, and your brain is trained to think that, at least for us that have been watching movies our entire lives. This movie, that shit doesn't happen. So, for example, and I wonder if you remember this, I'm sure you do, but there's a point towards, like, the opening act of the movie, in the first act, where the recon sniper, the American SEAL Elliot, who's the one who got blown up, he was watching out and doing recon, and he saw that actually, I think the other guy had swapped places with him, but either way, they saw a guy with a Dragunov sniper or whatever going into a building. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, okay, that's going to become a problem later. That doesn't get brought up again. That is just something they acknowledge because, like, hey, we're doing recon. There's a guy with a sniper rifle going into this building.
We're telling you what we saw when we saw it.
Yeah, and so like in something like American Sniper, he's going one-on-one with that sniper dude on the buildings. You're like, oh, okay, this dude's going to end up having to take out this sniper guy. He's going to have some cool action scene. No. In this movie, I don't even think you actually see a Navy SEAL actually directly shoot a guy. It is all just cover fire.
There's literally maybe one time you see someone get shot and you actually see them take an impact of it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you don't really see
crazy.
This. Yeah, because that's how realistic real firefights are going.
And it's so fucking chaotic, even though one shot is maybe hit, but hundreds are fired.
Yeah,
hundreds. Like, there's plenty of shots fired.
Yeah. So it's things like that. There's a scene where a guy is so panicked and so freaked out that he injects one of the guys that gets blown up with morphine, and he has it flipped around backwards, and he stabs himself with the morphine because he's so panicked and freaked out and moving in the moment. And you're like, oh, okay, that's going to come back where, like, he's going to have to be trying to shoot somebody and he can't aim up. And it's like, no, that didn't end up becoming one of the big problems. It doesn't come back.
They literally only say one thing, and it's when at one point they're like having to run back inside either with a body or just to get out of fire. And the, like, CEO guy's running next to him afterwards, and he's like, dude, you're high as shit. And they kind of laugh about it for like half a second in the midst of fire.
Yeah.
And then they just keep running. And like that's it. And you don't really see, you maybe see him stumble a couple times, but it's like he still is doing his best to keep fucking composure.
Yeah, as somebody who's trained to be watching a movie and thinking what's going to happen, you're like, oh, there's going to be a moment where he can't aim and he can't hit a guy and he can't shoot him, so he ends up killing the guy next to him. That doesn't happen because that didn't happen in the story.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, so it doesn't happen in this movie.
I just find, like, the accuracy to what feels like such a real scenario. So I love the setup of the movie, too. Like, the pacing is so deliberate with the first...
It's an hour and a half. Short movie.
Yeah, first short movie, and absolutely uses every minute so effectively. Especially the beginning. Like, nothing happens in the beginning. Almost literally, like, quote-unquote nothing. Where...
It's just recon. It's just
you are just... Actually, I should start. The very first scene you see is the only happy moment in the movie on purpose. You get to see all the boys, all the dudes in the squad are just watching some, like, old 80s, 90s, like, aerobic class type of thing with girls wearing skimpy ass stuff. So everyone's like, just kind of pumped, just getting, like, rowdy with it before the mission. And then it's a hard cut to them just in the dead of night. And they're like, this is a sniper recon mission in 2006, November. Here we go. It's like super quiet, and you just watch them take over the house, which is
our house now.
A little could be super chaotic, and also alludes to probably why they were found. Is they bang open a brick wall that's separating, like, an apartment complex almost, or just some sort of housing complex.
That's what it is.
And it's a privacy wall almost, and they have to, like, bang it down with a sledgehammer in the middle of the night, and it's like probably could have heard that. Someone, maybe, potentially.
Well, their other SEALs said that they could hear them.
Yeah, the dudes, is this in Iraq?
Yes.
I would assume Iraqi soldiers that, like, are working for the Americans as translators. Yeah, they're like, yeah, that was loud as shit. They're definitely like, they know where we are, probably.
Yeah.
They know we're here. So just by the way. But then you just watch them doing the recon, and it's quiet, and it's spookily quiet. Like,
boring.
It's eerily quiet, but just boring. Dudes taking a drink, spitting their backwash back in it for the next guy. All it is a dude, you look through the scope occasionally, and he's just calming back to another dude. Guy in a white shirt, black pants, sandals.
Looks a little suspicious.
Yeah, looking a little suspicious. Cool. Guy in a red jacket, green pants, white shoes. Little suspicious. But boy, does it like really set in stone how it is in real life, where these dudes go on missions. They may not know the actual goal put in front of them or why the full like the reasoning behind what you're doing. You just do what you're told. And then you know how to survive. You're taught how to survive, and you're taught how to get dudes back to safety. And like you go from complete silence and like kind of calm peacefulness to fucking grenade getting tossed through the sniper hole, and then all hell breaks loose, basically.
Well, before they call everybody inside, don't they?
Oh, they call for jihad, yeah. Like, they actually know it's coming. Like, as they're looking out, you hear on, like, loudspeakers out in the streets just, like, calling out Allahu Akbar and calling for jihad.
All the civilians go inside.
All civilians know
to go
just
inside. Imagine being in there and seeing that happen. You're like, oh, fuck, we're found. And then your heart just starts
racing.
Like, okay,
they did.
Here we go.
They did such a good job of, like, there's no time to process. Like, there is, but there isn't. There is the moments where you're looking and you guys know, you're like, hey, you're calling into base, and you're like, it's about, something's bad. It's about to happen. We literally know we're about to get attacked. Can we get the go ahead? And you just sit there and you're like,
yeah.
Waiting. You're literally waiting for like something to happen.
And that's another thing too. Like the point that you're getting at here is they drop the grenade in there. They rain down fire on them from a little bit. They get everybody out of the room that they dropped the grenade on. And then, honestly, nothing happens for probably another, God, I have no idea actual time frame. But 15, 20 minutes.
I loved it. It was sick.
It was great because you're just on edge. You're like, something could happen at any minute. In a normal movie, stuff would happen.
And you really get to truly see like all the elements of what happens in the chaos and how these guys have to try to stay calm. And also an insane level of like a look into the U.S. military and stuff. Like they were not leaving any gear behind. They are willing to risk...
sledgehammer. I forgot about that.
They're willing to risk life and limb for a sledgehammer in the middle of the open road. Like, they had like 4 dudes going out, and they're just like, holy shit. Like,
I was slightly confused about it. And maybe I need somebody in the military to actually explain this to me. I was confused why they did that. I can get it for the gun, because if you realize, hey, you're going to be stuck in this situation for a while, you need to get everything you can.
I think...
I'm kind of confused. Why didn't you sledgehammer?
Well, I think it might be go mode. I think that's where the training is telling you nothing's left behind. So even before you're even thinking I could die doing this, you go, I have to get it.
Yeah.
And so they just go. Like the whole movie from the grenade going off is just like immediately everyone's like, okay, what do we do? Guys are injured. Okay, we got to get this dude's got to get out of here. Okay, who's calling it in? Let's go. You get to see every element of them like stacking up, even the lineup of dudes in the room and how long it took them to actually just finally get set up in a fucking line to get ready. It like takes a lot of dudes one dude has to go in the room that got grenaded and has been getting shot on multiple times. They kind of use it as...
They couldn't find the gear the first time.
Yeah, they
have to do it again.
Everyone runs out and they go like, all of our gear's in there. I'm basically like, I'm not going back in. Someone else can go back in.
Well, he was injured and he was rumbling like all of his Depressed.
Well, you've got dude. One thing about this movie, I think, reason to see it in the theater, the sound design and the audio was top notch. It was like half the movie, really. Like it's not the same unless
there's no music or soundtrack or anything. There's no audio in this
movie.
You
only hear the song in that aerobics video, and they pump it. It's loud. Like they got really loud. Where I was like, why is this so loud? And it's like, remember this. This is the last time you're going to hear music, like ever. For some of these guys, like almost is how it feels, for the next hour. For the next hour and a half, this is the only moment of happiness. But man, the first time the LMG guy pulls up in the room after the grenade, and they have it shot where you can see the muzzle from the front, and he's just like, open fire. The first shot that is shot is just like feels crazy. It's not just sounds; they like got the bass levels right to where it's like a fucking. And it was like not like aggressive, but you do feel a little bit. And I was like, damn, this is again who knows if anyone's getting shot? Who knows? Like, but it's like that's what war is. Not about like getting your kill counts. It's like all suppressive fire. That's like all you're doing is you lay down shots so the other dudes maybe duck their heads. In the meantime, you move ahead. Yeah. Like it's not trying to necessarily at all times headshot.
Seems like never.
You
like
really,
just trying to
you're
make sure
just
to get
getting.
out.
It's just suppressing fire. Like, hey, I'm gonna lay down fire so they don't try to immediately shoot back, and you have time now. Don't get in the way. Like
coming off of the sound design stuff, and I know we talked about this when we came out of the theater, but and I guess let's talk about this going into what happened. So, like we said, nothing happens after the grenade gets dropped and after they rain down fire on him.
Yeah.
For probably 15 minutes in the movie, I want to say.
The whole process goes to just trying to get that's a Casavac, I think is what it was called. There's technically two types of vehicles that came in. There's like the medical like escape vehicle, and then there was the actual tanks. So I think the first time was like a Casavac medical escape vehicle almost.
Yeah.
And like the whole time you're watching that 15-20 minutes is just the setup to they called in a Casavac and they're like, okay, it's on the way at some point. And finally it's like, all right, guys, gear up, get a plan together for when it gets here so we can get our injured dude into the Casavac.
Yeah. And so that's where we pick up after that time frame of nothing happening, quote unquote. And so they go out into the Casavac, like you said. And apparently it was an RPG. I got confirmed it wasn't an IED. Apparently it was an RPG. I know there was some contention about that, like where I talked about.
Is that like?
But that's what the people in the like some reviews I said and reviews I was watching and some military people reviewing it.
I want to hear it from the people who were there.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure
because I feel like
we could
part of the. I almost feel like it's a halfway like in the chaos. You can't tell.
Don't know. Yeah,
like, I think it could be like memories from half the guys say IED. Memories from half the dudes say RPG.
Yeah, and so from at least from a viewer, it didn't seem very blatant if it was either or.
All you know is a fucking explosion rips everyone.
And so coming into this sound design thing, and goddamn, that explosion was cool. And we'll get and just a quick one off because you don't have to dive into this, but there's a thing called show force, so they fly a jet over.
Oh, so
it does this 2 or 3 times in the movies where they just fly a jet over to do quote unquote a show of force to scare off the bad guys without actually doing anything because they don't have true air support. And it's this shot of a jet just going. They just blowing up all the sand.
They just get like as low to the ground as possible.
It's fucking
and just
sick.
Rip these 6 shots of just the dust on the road, just fucking.
And I was like, dude, I hope they do it again, and they did it again, and I think they did it again.
It's cool because they show it from the soldiers' perspectives, like in the house, and they will like they're at one point they're having mid conversation, and he's like, you hear it coming, and he's like huh? He stops, he's like, wait. Like the thing, and he's like, okay, now I can keep going, and like it shakes the house. It would feel probably like a fucking explosion almost. I would think, like a concussive blast.
Slight tangent, but to the sound stuff. But going back to what I was talking about is that they get blown up by the IED/RPG. What is so cool about the sound design and how they portray each and every different person is that there's the cliche movie thing where like you go into a ringing and you can't hear anything
like
and
shell
shocked and all. You hear like these faint bullet sounds and you're just freaked out, and like there's the guy doing that standing over one of the other guys that gets blown up,
like dazed and confused. Just who knows what's happening.
He finally comes to and starts pulling himself in, and like the further you can hear that the sound, and there's different people that were different distances away from the explosion, and when you cut to a view of that person, the guy who's further away you can hear more. The guy who is right next to it, you can barely hear anything except for like faint little tick tick ticks of gunfire popping off, and then one of the guys are pulling the dudes back into the house. Elliot, the dude's foot who gets hooked on the wall. So his legs are just mangled and blown to shit, and his foot and his boot gets hooked to a wall, and it looks like, I thought they were going to rip it off, but they didn't. They got him in. But they get him into the doorway, and it cuts to the view of another guy who's inside the house who didn't get blown up by the IED/RPG. Yeah, and all of a sudden, the audio just instantly clicks to new, and then you can... So that's just really cool of showing like the perspective of who they're showing on screen and everything that's happening.
Yeah.
You can go into the guy who is the Ray Mendoza is the younger looking Hispanic.
Couldn't get the
guy.
Tourniquet on.
Yes, right. That's Ray Mendoza. That dude is playing him. There's a moment where he's trying to. I don't know if it's when he's trying to put the tourniquet in or just like think about what's happening. But anyways, when he has all that radio chat.
God, yeah, he's like the comms. He's like one of the main comms guys who has to relay info. So he always has his headphones on with hearing all the other commands. But I think it's definitely just done for dramatic effect. But like.
It works. I believe I could
that's
see
how
that.
It would feel. That is 100% how it would. I know that feeling of just like there's only 2 people talking maybe, but you're just like it feels like a million voices going in your head in an already the most chaotic moment of your life probably, and you're trying to keep your cool, and they crank up the volume on, like, it starts kind of subtle, like you hear a couple call outs, and then just over like the course of a minute it's just like they're slowly pushing the dial on this like headset
turned
volume.
up, more people are talking, and you're trying to listen to people in the room, like you can feel like you're
dudes are like still like looking at him like, get your like, what are we doing? And finally he just unplugs it and it just cuts all the comms finally, and you can like, even you watching, you're like, oh, like
it's a relief.
It's like
okay, now what are we doing?
It's just so well done to put you in the moment of like just these weird things that like, I don't know, I've seen, like, you could say like, oh well, maybe like, God, they don't look that prepped or they're not that prepared. It's like, it's the fucking craziest moment of your life. You would be a little crazy. You would be a little like, you'd have moments.
Let's talk about Will Poulter.
Yeah, like you'd have your own commanding officer who, like, halfway through the movie or 2/3 through, after every, like, a bunch of stuff has happened, he's kind of...
He's been fucked up since he got blown.
You've watched him hold himself together as much as he can. You can
Which
tell.
Is not very well.
There's a couple, I swear, I don't know if it's like, I'd have to rewatch it, but I swear it is done. When they cut to his perspective of showing just him, there were a few moments where I swear the camera is like ultra shaking, like vibrating, where it's like, like for his perspective, he just can't, like, nothing's still. He's just like in this state of just like, oh fuck, I can't even contain this. And then finally, there's the second squad that's coming for support finally gets to them, and that CEO goes to him and he's like, he's trying to do stuff and he clearly can't even stand up straight, and he sits him down and he's just like, I'm fucked up, man.
You gotta take over.
He's just take over. Like, I can't make decisions anymore. I am not coherent.
And that dude takes over, and this is when you go into like cool Navy SEAL stuff. Like, oh, this
on the moment, he's like, all right, let's go. And he's like,
makes a plan, gets everybody figured out.
I think it's cool because it shows that coming into it, the dude wasn't immediately trying to be like, do this, do that. It's like there is a chain of command that people understand. Like, hey, who's your CEO? What's your guys' plan? And he goes to him first to be like, what's the call? And once he sees like, oh, you can't make a call, and he tells him, he's like, all right, now it's game time. Now I've got the go ahead. It's game time. But like the order of operation still exists, even to the point of there's a guy who has to radio in and has to fake a command because they're not willing to give it to someone of a certain status.
It's like, here, we break the rules, or we might die.
Yeah, they ask for like, we need immediate tank support, basically. Like, it's fucked up. We are beyond needing help. Please, anything. And they're like, we need this guy's sign off. Give it to us. Like, get him on. And then immediately he goes back, tells the other dude, he's like, they're not going to let us get this support unless so-and-so does it. And he goes, well, I guess you're so-and-so, basically, and walks away. And it's just like, that's just a telling moment. For one, if that's true, not for story effect, think about it. Think about being a soldier in the military and you are getting rained down on and fire in this moment. Basically, if we don't get support, odds are we die, all of us. Maybe, who knows? But your own people, your own country, or your own military is like, no, it doesn't sound that dire. Get that guy to say it. I'm sure in the background they can fucking hear like the chaos. You can hear everything, and they're just like, there's certain things at times where it's like the rules and stipulations just make you think twice.
They said in the movie, we can't risk the tanks after what happened to the first one,
and it's just like, oh,
like,
I guess are we? So we're just worth nothing. Awesome. We're literally cannon fodder now.
Yeah.
Like, even better. Yeah, it's like, that feels great. And so just to know, and then to put the pressure on another dude and be like, if he gets found out that you did this, you potentially could have just ruined your life in the military. If that's what you have, it sucks. Hopefully nobody says anything or knows like the extent. Someone clearly has a memory of it and it's known, but it's like, either way, that stuff is crazy to think about. Just the extent at times we're willing to go to not give help occasionally. I mean, like, I like the point of the first part of the movie. You hear almost what feels like every soldier at a certain point call out what the building location is, like the super elongated like code words they have that's like super specific. But then by the time you're halfway through this chaos moment of battle, they call the commanding officer and they're like, what's your building? And he's said it a lot of times, but in the moment he's like, and it's like, I'm even trying to think of it in my head. I don't know it, but I'm like trying, and I'm like, I kind of remember parts of it. And finally he's just like, dude, the building with all the smoke and blood, like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm done with that shit. Like, we're done with the rules. We're done with.
Get me out.
You know where it is, right? Like, fuck. Don't we have GPS or something? It's just like, fuck, dude. I can't give all these commands.
Didn't the GPS didn't exist in 2006?
Yeah, it's just wild though.
Kind of weird. This takes place during when Oblivion came out, so you're just probably playing that in your basement. All these dudes,
all these dudes are
blown
fighting
up
for their goddamn lives,
so you can play Oblivion.
But yeah, everything's so meticulously done. Every little detail it's put in feels very on purpose for good reason.
The one like hoorah fucking jacked up asshole Marine. There's one guy in this who goes like kind of like cliche Hollywood Marine stuff who comes in. He's like, after everybody's all blown up, the second team comes in to try to help them. They've been hit with a grenade. They've been hit with an RPG/IED. They have one dude basically doesn't have legs anymore. He's mangled. Another dude has his leg blown up too. So they got two severely injured guys in there. Guy comes up and he's like, "Come on, man! Come on, Elliot! Come on, get pumped up! Let's go!" And starts pushing him like he's like get pumped, and they're just on the ground screaming.
Yeah,
they
like
got
chest slapping him.
Kicks their legs like 2 or 3 times, and
that's
the Ray Mendoza character tells him to shut the fuck up and how annoying
that felt like such a real thing is in a house that's just got dudes dying in it, and you're literally just set up in a regular ass house where it's just not built for any of this.
Like you're trying to pump somebody up for a football game,
and it's like it's crazy. I the kicking the legs thing totally. I believe like anyone could have done it and mistakenly done it and been like shit, my bad. But like fuck, dude, we're all just like. There's like 20 of us in here, and you
multiple
got
times
2 dead bodies that we're trying to walk around. That sucks. But the dudes who are, they're like, "You're gonna make it, buddy. Come on!" And you're like,
"Come on, man, get up."
He's like,
fucked up.
He's like, "Bro, my legs are hanging on by the tendons. Like, I can't
tell
be
me to
doing
get
this."
up, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
That shit. That's a good. I like that because I don't know if I've seen many movies do like the hoorah guy like that in such a backwards like.
Usually that's like let's go. This dude's about to fuck shit up. No, this guy's a fucking asshole that nobody wants to be.
It's not the moment for the like, just let the adrenaline flow. That's the headshot dude. That's the kill count guy. Yeah. Where you're just like, that's not what we do, man. That's not why we're here. Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. We're here to fucking survive and make it out alive, as many of us as possible now. Yeah. So, just a crazy contrast between the types of people you've been watching the whole time who are very much have no reason to be like that. Yeah. After what they've been going through, and have these, it's always the dudes. Most military, any TV show or movie has the moment where if you followed the group of guys, you have the moment where the newer people or like the people who haven't been in battle with you show up, and they're always like kind of a little stoked to be there. Maybe they're the new guys who haven't seen action, and they're always like the greenhorns, and it's just like everyone's just kind of super jazzed to be in the war, while all the dudes who you've seen go through like World War II will look at them and they're just like, "Fuck, are you excited for? Like, like why are you like what?"
They probably teach them that when they're in training.
Yeah, like
there's you gotta go out there. And get
there's nothing here to be feeling like that pumped for, but it is the only way you get like some of those like propaganda machines to work, is to get you feeling like this is
Starship Troopers.
Hell yeah, brother! Like let's do it. All quiet. Is it All Quiet on the Western Front? That was like the recent one that came out that did it, where like from a World War I perspective, you watch like that exact thing. A kid who just kind of sees posters, watches his friends around him get super amped up on, dude, the war, like it's our job. We got to go out. Like I'm gonna play my part, and everyone's amped. All the recruiters in the midst before they're there are like, "This is the best thing you've ever done in your life. This is for everyone. This is for your future generations. You're heroes and everything." And then like hard cut to, after basic training, you're going on to your first mission, and it's just, you see all the dudes who are literally just like amputees, and everyone's just fucking PTSD'd out, and you're like, why am I here? And it's like, what'd you expect? I don't know, but they do a good job. There's so much good military stuff that at times can have a tinge of the like, this does feel like an ad campaign a little bit to like want to run out for that, but this doesn't feel like that.
Dude, the way I felt about war and the military and stuff when I was a kid, and even in high school, and like how badly I wanted a zombie apocalypse and stuff, and thinking about these things now, and like, dude, I'll go to Walmart, I'll fuck up all the zombies, like all that stuff, and just thinking about it now and talking to people that have been in it, seeing these more realistic adaptations, having social media and actually being able to unfortunately,
Yeah.
watch people get blown up,
Being able to
watch
see
people
in real time,
watch
things
people
happening.
with GoPros on shooting each other in pits, and I'm like,
drone bombs and stuff. Like,
dude, I've become so anti-war as I've gotten older and stuff. But seeing you don't get to see it. What I'm getting at is you don't get to see a movie like this very often, where it actually does a depiction. And me, it's how I've gotten older and changed my opinion on that stuff, and seeing just how costly war is and how fucked up it is. This is one of the few movies in a while where Cody might remember, but I was sitting like this. If you like, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, and I'm like leaning down.
You pulled
on
a
my
weird
chair.
with the reclined seat still up. You straddled around.
Yeah,
and we're like,
they're too
sounds
slow
like,
and it's distracting, and I
like,
had to just get up there and get locked in because I was getting teary eyed. I was anxious the whole fucking time.
It was
so
so tense. I have to say, like, again, that beginning being so quiet. Once shit hits the fan, it does not let up. So you're thinking back to that moment yourself, watching like, damn, remember when it was like quiet and we were just chumming around with the boys? That was nice. It wasn't that nice like 30 minutes ago, because now things are life or death, and there's dudes literally dying around me. Like, I think technically only one person dies. And
no, two people do. It's just that
one of the Iraq dudes.
Yeah,
does.
the Iraqi.
The dude
soldiers.
who
they both did, didn't they?
I don't know. Both, I think the other guy might have just ran off. I think he just
really?
straight up, like, in the midst of the chaos of the explosion, he's just like, I'm gone.
That's another thing. That's another scene we need to bring up too. Is the dudes were so scared, and the U.S. guys literally. And this is from their memories.
They definitely
they used
purpose.
them as bait.
Yeah, like
it's not even definitely. They're like, oh, we don't want to go out first. Why are they putting us first? It's like, you fucking stay there. That's where you're going.
Yeah.
And then they say go go go, and then they hold back the first U.S. guy.
They hold back and wait a long time to let the Iraq dudes just chill out there and basically
that was almost real
and
bad.
basically just be like, let's wait extra long for an extra cushion of if there's anything, and then maybe we'll go out. And then finally, it's like, all right, it's clear. Now we have to go. But yeah, it
was not clear.
They gave a large cushion of time, and purposely he's like, "Oop, you don't need to go yet."
Yeah, and then they ended up dying, man. It was fucked up.
So yeah, that's
or at least one of them.
And they totally know it. Like, they're just talking back and forth. They're like, "What are they saying?" He's like, "They're telling us to go first and to guard the position." He's like, "I'm not going out there." Basically, he's like, "No."
One of them tries to run, and they grab him.
And he's like, "No, we're but like, you guys have to. That's like, you do what you're told." You do what you're told.
Yeah, which is so much.
They're like curious coming up the stairs before things kind of hit the fan. Like, they kind of keep coming up. They're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And immediately they're just like, "Go hold the downstairs position. Don't go hold the position."
Yeah.
Like, do not bother us. Don't talk to us.
Yeah.
Go do your thing. We do
Poor
our
guys,
thing.
man. Oh my God, let's talk about the family.
Yeah, you get
There's a family in this house this entire movie, and when the scene goes on,
they just take over people's place.
it's just a normal family just living in a house. They take over their house, and then it gets invaded, and this family has to stay on this bed in this horribly anxious moment while they're getting ran down by gunfire, and claymores are blowing up, an RPG hits a fucking tank, the tanks come through. Oh my God, the scene of the tank shooting.
Tanks was sick.
But there's a family, I'm like, God, dude, and they come out at the end, and the family's just like,
sick's the wrong
just
word.
blood, just... No, the tanks were sick.
Well, but still the reality of what's happening.
Oh,
is
yeah.
like,
Again, see, that shit's still in me.
Yeah.
But the sound design of those were fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But the family comes out after the whole SEAL team gets out of there, and the family comes out to their house being basically blown up.
Completely.
Blood-soaked floors on there. Two mangled dead bodies, blood and guts out in front of their house. Like,
yeah, literal body parts.
It's just shows the direct effects of war that happens on your turf.
Again, the way the movie's purposely doing it, nothing really to be said about how it's done. You just see American soldiers come in, take over the house. They get the family into a secluded area and have the translators just tell them, like, look, we're not here to hurt you. We just have to do what we have to do. Sorry. That's how it is.
Yeah.
There's really no ifs, ands, or buts. It's like, however you feel about it is however you feel. This is what happened. And then at the end, the very harsh contrast of a moment with... After the chaos of everything that's just happened, and actually you get most of the guys into the two vehicles to get out of there, and everyone pulls out after they just literally lit up in a full 360 with the tanks, the upper stories of like all the buildings directly around them.
Yep.
And it just is in the dead of night, and it shows them just pulling out in different directions, and it's dead silent. And then it cuts to like morning. And it's just like, you just get to see the picture of where we started versus where we're at. And how within I don't know, is it a 24-hour period then? Just a day?
I bet it's not even that. I bet it's not even that long.
Like,
it's just daylight.
They got there at night, and then by the next night, I think they're gone. And it's just
was it nighttime when they got into the tanks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I feel like I remember it being pretty dark when they pull out at least. And then it cuts back to morning and it shows all the Iraq dudes just like walk out. And there's still a ton of them.
Yeah.
Like, and just everyone's just kind of like, well, all right, I guess it's done.
Yeah. It's just over.
And it's just like.
And then the movie just ends.
And you're just like sitting there kind of like, that's how it is. It is literally like, for 24-hour period, you just had like these dudes pull in with the most insane things going on. Life, like explosions, death, chaos. And then they just pull out, and it's as if nothing ever happened.
Well, and it almost really is because it is because of there's the scars, there's the PTSD, and the dude lost his legs. They did all that shit to the SEALs. They didn't kill a single person, except for the Iranian dude. The Iraqi.
Well,
dude,
guys are well trained. I find it amazing. I think what blows me away is someone who is clearly a kid who grew up on like shooter video games, who does have like
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare,
the headshot mindset. It puts in perspective when you watch a movie where the first thing that like what gets them on a actual goal and mission is get the guy to safety.
Yeah.
That's the only mission that really ever happens is when someone gets severely injured, the first thing everyone is told to now do is we get this guy to safety. Group effort. Everyone on deck just to get one dude into that thing to get out of here safely. And it even could risk all more of us doing it, but that's the goal now. It's like that's how training works, I guess, or like the priority list of things and how you go. It's like I'm thinking we shoot and kill the bad guys, don't we? And it's like, that's not why we're here, to shoot and just kill innocent like civilians all around us and the bad guys, quote unquote. We're here to get recon probably on some high profile target potentially who we could lead to a hopefully easy takedown that doesn't cause this kind of a moment.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. And
fucking sledgehammer, man.
Yeah, you're just seeing what happened and you get to sit and just kind of soak it in. And yeah, the family moment at the end hits hard where you're like, ooh, ugly, man. Ugly for both sides. It's bad for everyone. It's really, that's like the bottom line is at the end of it, nobody had a better side of it. Everyone got shit on, everyone was dying around them, and everyone was invested in the same thing. And for both sides, it sucked.
Kind of a representation of the war as a whole. Just fucked. We didn't win that.
And what did we gain from it? We don't really know. We don't really know. They don't tell us. I think more definitely on purpose of like, what was the point of this? And you just leave going like, it doesn't matter, right? Like that.
What matters is that it was fucked.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. The point is, look how shitty this was. Like I think one of the more one shot how they at the end they do. It's very interesting. You see real pictures of the real people, but you only actually see the faces of maybe 4 or 5 of them because for more like I would assume. All the other faces are blurred out because I would assume they asked all of them and they just didn't give the go-ahead to show their face.
Yeah, understandably. Yeah,
and
that's a horrible memory.
Yeah, it's very jarring, I think, to watch this and all of a sudden you see a real picture with someone who didn't want to show themselves. Like, it's a harsh representation of, like, I don't want to remember this. Like, I don't want this I don't want to be a part of this. Literally. Don't put my face up there. I don't want people to even know I was, like, had to deal with this. And then the one picture that still sticks with me is that it's someone on the team who clearly had to stand there and take a picture of the family. It's like the family portrait of the house they took over, and all 4 of the faces are blurred out. Mom, dad, and the 2 kids. And it's just like, I'm imagining like a dude in the house and he takes the picture all to this moment that leads to it gets used for people to see with all your faces blurred out. We'll never know who you are, but the actual significance of seeing 4 characters, like 4 people on screen, even with the faces blurred out, where it's just like, fuck.
It gets into kind of a weird area, and I don't know why this. Well, I guess I do, but it makes you think of Civil War slightly because you have to think of the wartime photographers and journalists that have to be out there and taking pictures of stuff to show people what's happening, and it leads into this movie. I'm like, man, should they have made this? Like, it's gonna be really fucked up for those guys, and it's gonna be really fucked up. Ultimately really really fucked up for those guys, but I think painting such a realistic picture and setting this up for people like you and me that are so far removed from this stuff. We've never been in the military. Nothing. I mean, I've shot a few guns.
As far as it's gone.
Yeah. And painting something like that for us, who, again, like I've been saying, I've been seeing way too much shit online with the wars going on. To have a realistic depiction of something like this, I guess it is good because it doesn't glorify war. It's not fucking Transformers. It's not
I think
even Band of Brothers or something.
It's a good mixture of like it's showing you literally all the good and all the bad. You get to see.
It's not much good.
What I think the good
it's
is
a cool jet.
You get to see humans working together no matter what odds to save one another.
Yeah.
Like it is in war, but that's what's happening. Is you do get to see a squad of people who are doing their damnedest to just get this guy to safety. No matter what, even if it takes your own life. Like that to me is a concept that just few people understand unless I think you would have like been in the military. I can only say it, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. Like,
yeah, even seeing something like this,
laying your life, truly being willing to say I've put myself in the way of fire for another man. Like whether or not you got shot, like whether or not you got shot, doesn't matter. Like you were still the human shield for that other guy at one point. And like, to see a perspective for someone like us who I'm such a bystander. I feel like, but it gives you all the bad of like, this is ugly and nasty and look at what happens. Nothing good. Yet I would hope, should sympathize still much more with anyone who is still in the military, because this isn't just as simple as we just don't do it. Like, okay, good luck. America doesn't exist if we don't have a military, but like, war doesn't just like disappear, and the people who are willing to say that they actually would have put their life on the line, like
it's a different type of person.
Have a little bit, like just a little bit of respect at times. No matter what, I feel like no matter how you feel, like the decision of you chose to do it, and it's like, and that's part of the reason why you have some of the things you have. Like it's a slippery slope, and it's a weird like game to play, but this movie does a good job of making you think about it from all angles. And I think being able to see all the cool good and all the nasty bad all at the same time.
Yeah, shit's not black and white.
No,
at least not like I thought it was when I was 13 playing Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
like I keep bringing that back. That's just
going through doing a terrorist mission as the terrorist and decimating a fucking airport of people, like thousands of people.
At least they said
as that. Like a 12-year-old, and I'm just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
The actual implications of some of that stuff, I think back now, I'm like, I can't believe I actually played that as a child, a true child.
it's pretty wild. Warfare.
Great movie.
Yeah, Warfare. It's easily the movie of the year, but movies that fucking suck.
Yeah, right now that's the one of the few I've seen, but it's that would have been at the top of my movies of any year. Like it's really good. I give it like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Only because I feel like a 10 out of 10 has to go to like just a tried and true, like it has to be like a certified classic almost. This is one of those like you may watch it once and never want to watch it again. Yeah. But it does not mean the significance and impact doesn't hit. It is so worth a watch.
I hope this gets some awards. I hope it does decent at the box office. This is a tough one.
This is one where like box office, but audio sound design. That's what I was going to say. Hope it goes up for because it's so crucial to the feeling of the movie.
It's everything. It's pivotal. It's everything. I think.
Yeah, like it's huge.
Yeah. So let's wrap things up here. We did a little bit longer one. It's been a while since we've gone an hour and 40 on one of these. Whoa. But we had a lot to talk about this week. Yeah. We've got good shit happening in every aspect. I'm so excited to be playing games again. I've been wanting to do this for so long.
I finished White Lotus season 1, but I don't.
I've watched
too much.
I'm on like the third.
That'll be for another time.
Yeah, I'm on like the third or fourth episode now too. But like with what we've been watching and playing,
too much. Just not. There was way too like. There was so many other things. Again, like the Oblivion just surprise drop was one of those things where I was like, oh, didn't even know this would happen now. So. Yeah. So also Andor season 2 apparently came out yesterday, so that'll push me to hopefully finish season 1 because I keep seeing how it's getting like rave reviews.
Yeah, but not soon because maybe
I've got a lot of stuff, but we'll
Oblivion's going to be most of it right now, and then The Last of Us once a week. But
in White Lotus, since I finished season 1. It's like, dude, there's so much to be watching. There's actually, like, I went from a period of, like, it felt like nothing, and then now I feel like there's so much stuff.
We got to watch that show on Apple TV, too. I think it's called The Studio, right?
Oh, is that Seth Rogen?
Yeah. That looks good, too. So, let's not dive too into this. Let's not overwhelm ourselves.
That's the thing all the shows will exist for all of time. So I think for us, we're like, fuck, gotta watch it. But in reality, it's like, I'm just going to watch at a pace that works.
No, we do what we like, so...
So fuck you.
Shit's fun. Last of Us, Warfare, Oblivion. Last of Us and Oblivion are going to be probably talked, or Last of Us 100% are
There
going to talk
needs
about for the next 5 weeks.
Potentially, like, because Oblivion is one of these games, this is one of those things where it's like, I want to talk with you about how your playthrough is going and what you're doing, because I know I kind of know most everything that will happen in all the quests, and I cannot wait for some of the moments in the game that I love. Like, there's so many good quests, good things, and like coming back to talk about where you're at or how your character is, I think is super fun. Yeah. That's like, I'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm excited. But other than that, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let us know, like, the Warfare one's going to be pretty tough. I bet a lot of you probably won't be watching that one, but I hope you do. If you haven't gone to see it in theaters, go see it. It's special. It is not an enjoyable ride per se. I mean, there's enjoyable parts of it. It is very shot very well.
And it's really not as much of a like gore fest as
only the guys
only like medical stuff, like truly taken for medical,
and the body you see for a little bit.
Yeah, but like compared to some like military movies or war movies, this is not trying to focus on the actual like bullet shots, gushing blood, and the insane nasty.
Like we said, nobody really that we see directly really gets hit by it. Maybe one
but there are some like I had to like I'm not good. I'm squeamish with a lot of like nasty stuff. These like when it comes to body injuries and directly seeing stuff, especially even needles. Like I was like for a good chunk of some of those medical times and like working on the guys, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can watch this.
Yeah, there's
but it didn't change the fact that I still like I was peeking and would be like like I had to see it.
Go watch it if you have the time. This is one of those movies that needs to be supported because they're cool and unique and special. The Last of Us, it's HBO. It's great. Oblivion, I don't have too much to say about it yet, but I'm really excited to play it. Cody's fucking loving it.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So go out there. Let me know if you're playing Oblivion. Let me know if you're watching The Last of Us. Let me know if you go and see Warfare, if you already have seen it. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that fun shite. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.